The following production is brought to you by the Talkin Buds Leafs Show.
Talkin Buds Leafs Show. New setup, new technological setup. Ryan is sweating.
Oh, holy shit.
If only you guys knew what was that, an hour?
Yeah.
Of untangling cords, positioning cameras, moving things around.
Things aren't working.
Setting up our cool new toy to play with here so we can see me and then we can see you. And it's just all kinds of fun stuff going on. And as a result, Ryan has lost 10 pounds of sweat.
Usually before I get on the pod, I go into the bathroom. I look at my head of hair that's always put back, and there's always some stragglers sticking up. So I usually just run my hand underneath the water and just kind of slick it back. I didn't need to do that tonight. I just have a whole bead of sweat just right there, just chilling, just going down my face into my eyes. I'm like, oh man, you want nice cameras, you want a nice studio, you want a nice setup, but holy shit, is it work, man.
You want to be taken seriously. You want to be legit.
No one even sees it.
No one even sees it.
I see it, though.
Yeah.
But a lot of work. Anyone who does a pod out there who has invested in equipment, it's almost like the more you spend on equipment, the harder the setup is. It's stupid.
It is stupid.
I also had time to set it up because I was so bored watching another Leaf preseason game.
Well,
how many more weeks do we have of this left?
We have officially, by the time most people are watching this, we'll be just under 2 weeks until the start of the regular season. But there's been some interesting storylines. It's been the Easton Cowan show since the Monday night game against Ottawa. And normally I feel like you and I are the type of people to come on and kind of be like, everyone relax, he's just a kid, blah blah. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm enjoying being caught up in the Easton Cowan situation because I feel like we're just outside of Knies and Robertson, and they've got other guys like Fraser Minton and that sort of thing. It's like it's another new young skilled kid to get excited about, and outside of that, we know what the top lines are going to be. We know who the big boys are. Outside of that, it's where does everyone else slot? So it's kind of a nice storyline, exciting thing to get behind.
Yeah, I think the thing I enjoy about it the most is all the legends who sat down and watched every single game that Easton Cowan ever played in the OHL and just decided based off all those games that they watched that they're just going to hate this guy and hate this draft pick, which really no one knows anything about him. So the fact that I see him having any sort of success, I'm going to enjoy based off the fact that all these dorks out there just complained about a kid they've never seen play hockey once in their entire life.
Although you pointed out tonight, Sheldon didn't do him any favors. St. Thomas putting him with Kyle Clifford on the fourth line. No. So he wasn't as effective. I feel like he would get out there from time to time on Monday with Mitch Marner, and I think you could put you or me with Mitch Marner and we look really good. Not to take away from Easton Cowan. He did look good. The point I'm trying to make is it's playing with Kyle Clifford and Mitch Marner are two totally different things.
Yeah. A guy, you know what? I would want to sit beside Kyle Clifford in the dressing room, want to go for a beer with him. Seems like a nice guy, works his bag off every time he's out there. But if you're looking to produce points, not really the guy you want to be paired up with.
Good guy, Kyle Clifford.
Yeah, good, works his bag off. You got to love Kyle Cliffords. The world needs more Kyle Cliffords, but when you're trying to produce points as a hockey player, not a line you want to be on.
The top line in the Buffalo preseason game, the St. Thomas game, was John Tavares between Nick Robertson and Matthew Knies. And so we got to get a close-up look at the two I would say the two top. Would you still call them prospect? Would you call Matthew Knies a prospect at this point?
I mean, he's never played a NHL regular season game. So yeah, I would. I mean, anyone, any human being, I have this theory about when a guy's just thrown in a playoff scenario. It's like this guy's never been through the 82 game grind. Like, it's different. And Matthew said it kind of at the start of the season when they asked him about Knies. It's like he thinks he's ready. He thinks he's physically capable of the grind. But man, you get thrown in a couple playoff games. It's intense, but you're kind of just throwing in there. And I feel like there's almost like a way that you just play better because of the circumstance. But he's starting his first 82 game grind. I do think he's still a prospect. You could look at perfect example. Look at Alec Manoah. Like, it's like this guy might have looked good in a couple playoff games. What if he goes out and stinks this year? Then, he's not established at all, so he has to be a prospect.
But I think getting like a close up look at both him and Robertson tonight, like a few takeaways. I basically want to take the conversation that you and I were having watching the game and sort of bring it here onto the podcast. Matthew Knies is not the most fleet of foot hockey player I've ever seen in my life.
No.
But he excels, A, because he's big. B, he's got those Arizona hands.
Those Arizona stick lifts.
Yeah, those Arizona hands.
Who's teaching the coaching clinic growing up there to just lift? They do lifting stick drills constantly.
Yeah, and he's just got really good like hockey sense. And he's a guy, I don't know, when I watch him in contrast with Robertson tonight, I just feel like Knies has leapt?
I'm an idiot.
He has leapfrogged over Nick Robertson in the depth chart. Like I was watching Matthew Knies tonight. I'm like, listen, there's going to be times where he gets caught out of position because he's not the fastest guy out there, but he's got enough skill that he can still go out there and make plays, and he's not a guy I'm particularly worried about. Nick Robertson, I just don't. It's not that I sit and go, this guy's no good. I don't think that, but I just look at him and I look at the spot the Leafs need him to fill, and I just don't know if he can do that right out of camp. I just don't know. Like, why would you have Nick Robertson on your team and put him on your fourth line?
Yeah, I think that's what the question because I'm dying to give this guy a chance. I don't know why. As a guy who's come on here in the past and complained about guys who are small, I don't know what it is about this kid. I'm just dying to give him a chance because I don't think he's really had a fair shake in the NHL. I think he's been up and down. It's hard to get your groove going when you're going up and down, and then he gets rocked and he's done for the season. So, I mean, the thing that I just have hope for with him is he's a guy who can, I think he can put the biscuit in the basket when he has a chance, but is he just too small? And and I think what you said during the game was the perfect point. It's just like, where do you put him?
Yeah, especially when you got a guy like Noah Gregor out there on a PTO who's bombing around. He looks pretty good. He looks pretty quick. And here's a guy you can put on your fourth line that is will forecheck and it has the speed to get back. And I don't know. To me, Noah Gregor is the guy Nick Robertson is competing with right now. And when it comes to putting him in a fourth line role, I know we still got a lot of preseason left, so anything can change at this point. But I feel like Noah Gregor is edging him out right now if you're looking for a fourth line guy.
But if you look at the lines kind of assembled that people put together, it just really depends if Max Domi's a top 6 forward or not. Which, sometimes he looks like he is, sometimes it looks like he's not. And I think if he's not a top 6 forward, he's more in that third line role. I think then an opportunity could open up for a second line spot for Nick Robertson because does Callie Yarncroke get a play there? No. I saw enough of that last year. No, thank you.
Well, there's something weird going on with him. He's hurt or something. He's barely been out there.
He's also another guy who can't skate. So him not participating in training camp and not moving his feet and letting everyone else get ahead of him makes me kind of want to throw up thinking about his skating ability missing all this time. So I don't know. I think, but at the same time, it's how many small guys you going to put on that second line? It's just what kind of mix do you want in your top 6? Obviously,
that's the thing that I said that Knies has going for him. He's got
exactly.
The size.
Yeah, you're right. He's a guy you could throw in who has size, and you can his pedigrees, like he could score and he has hands and
he's gonna make mistakes. Like I even saw, granted, preseason game, and we don't read too much into preseason, but there's moments in the Buffalo game where he makes inexperienced decisions with the puck a little bit, and that stuff will come. He'll learn as he gets deeper in his career. But I just think if you're gonna specifically compare Knies to Robertson, Knies just has way more upside than Nick Robertson does at this point, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, it also depends on where Willie Nylander is going to end up, because I don't buy for a second that this guy's going to play center for 82 games if he's healthy for 82 games. I just don't think that's happening.
Don't you think that would be really silly that they made such a big deal out of it, and then 2 games in, they're like, nah, he's going back to the But who? But here's the problem they have, Ryan. Like you just had the lineup pulled up on your laptop there. Like who, if Nylander's not if Nylander's not playing center, that pushes David Kampf up to your 3rd line center position. And then who's your 4th line center? Pontus?
Well, I think that's the whole reason why you're putting Nylander there, because it's Pontus, which again, we only saw Pontus in short doses. So I just I don't know what he's capable of, but I know he's not a guy who's going to produce a lot of points in the NHL. So yeah, I guess the idea is to have a 3rd line center who can produce points. So that way, in theory, you have 3 lines that can all score, which it sounds nice on paper, but I just don't I don't even feel like this is a Leaf thing. I feel like this is like a sports thing where just any franchise in any sport will come out and make a claim about a guy playing a certain position or a way they want the lineup, and then as soon as it doesn't go right, they just go back. They just go back on it.
Well, especially when you're talking about Sheldon Keefe. That's been his MO the entire time.
That
dude will get away from something. Unless it's the pairing of Matthews and Marner, he'll get away and change up as quickly as he put it together.
Yeah, but even mid-game, he'll switch it up. Nylander played with Matthews a couple times last year. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't know. Maybe because I've never seen it. That's why I don't see it. But
and that's another thing. Like when we talked about Nylander playing center last week, that's another reason why I'm kind of about it, because I'm so sick of watching them just try and square peg round hole William Nylander and John Tavares. It doesn't work. They don't play well together. They haven't played well together for several years. So it's and I don't think switching them and putting Nylander at center and Tavares on the wing is going to change that. These two guys just don't have any chemistry. You're trying to motivate Nylander in a contract year. This is going to be the pod all year, man. This is can we just all take a collective breath for a second and just we start off talking about Easton Cowan, Matt Knies, and Nick Robertson, and now here we are talking about William Nylander and playing center and his contract. This is going to be strap in for a year of contract talk, ladies and gentlemen.
I never said I wasn't about him playing center. It's just I just don't see it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. I
don't want to talk about the contract. So boring. I don't know. I feel like it's already kind of gone away a little bit.
Yeah.
Unless I'm not paying attention, which is
very
viable.
But that was part of the brilliant scheme of the opening day of camp, is they came out with he's going to play center. Now, part of this is he did tell the media, I'm not answering any more questions about this, but that was the beauty thing they did, is they were like, okay, we're going to come out and talk about you being a center. That way, that's all everyone's going to talk about, and no one is going to talk about the fact that you're in a contract season.
Yeah, but I think in this scenario, the contract discussion is pretty clear cut. It's just it's not like Matthews when we were thinking about his contract. It's how many years, how much money, how long do you want to lock this guy up, blah, blah. We know the situation with his contract. It's just he wants this. They can't give him that. And I think everybody understands that. So how are you really going to elaborate on that? How are we me and you are just going to come in here and spend half an hour talking about that situation when we know the situation? He wants money. They can't afford to give him the money. So it's what's going to happen? I don't know.
I think you underestimate how much we and this fan base talk about contracts. Oh yeah.
I'm already like watching that game, it's like, can we just start the season already?
I know.
Jesus.
Like I said, like it's nice stories and stuff, but like, yeah, the preseason hockey is tough. Some developing news coming out of the St. Thomas game. Luke Fox on Twitter says John Klingberg had something tighten up on him tonight, per Keefe. Pulled out of the game as a precaution, needs further evaluation. John Klingberg.
Thanks, Luke Fox.
Yeah, but John Klingberg. We talked about all the John Klingberg experts last week, and we saw him in the one Ottawa game, and I just think we all need to. It's gonna depend on how Sheldon Keefe deploys him, but I think we all, as a fan base, need to just change the way we view John Klingberg. Like, he shouldn't be out there in important defensive situations. He should be out there, and contracts. I think people are hearing me give this take. What I was going to say to finish my thought was, shouldn't be out there in important defensive situations, should be out there in offensive situations. But then people are like, why are you giving this guy $4 million if that's the case, if you can't have him out there in important defensive situations?
I don't know, man. Like, I just like that just makes me I just don't like my new thing in sports. And I don't know if it's new, but it's kind of just it's been more intense lately. Is I just hate guys who can't stay healthy. Like, just stay healthy, man. Like all this conversation about him playing the power play, him being defensively irresponsible, blah, blah, blah. That all means nothing if you can't stay on the ice. And based off that tweet, it's just a precaution. Like, why push it in a preseason game? But all that conversation about where he's going to play, how he's going to play, the money, blah, 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 means absolutely dick to me unless he's on the ice playing. If he's not on the ice playing, he's absolutely no good to me. He's absolutely no good to them. And I don't like guys who are injury problems.
A discussion we had watching the Buffalo preseason game, just about Max Domi and the type of player he is, what he brings to the team, what his importance is going to be. And you've seen him in these preseason games, and he plays with an edge, and that's kind of a cliche thing to say, but I think it's so important for a team like this that has gotten pushed around. And I do think, to a degree, there are some people in the fan base that are sort of overestimating his skill. Like, they're kind of like, oh, I think they're expecting more from him skill-wise than what he's going to be able to provide. But if you deploy Max Domi in the correct way, which in my opinion is in a third-line role where he's checking and can chip in with some offense from time to time. He's got experience playing wing and center. You see him out there. He plays with an edge. He's a guy that if he's on John Tavares' wing and someone takes a run at Tavares, he's not just going to skate away. And I think that is what, like, that can't be. There's been a lot of talk about snot and Brad Treliving wanting to add more snot. And I just like that's so important for this Leaf team. So important.
Yeah, I think you and I watching the game tonight did like a really good job of like dissecting like the ups and downs of like every player up and down the lineup, especially the new guys. Like, if you look at Max Domi, it's just when he came in, it's just, where were you slotting him? I think people were slotting him all over the place. I think people were putting him on the first line, second line, third line, fourth line. It's just, it all depends how you look at him. You look at his career stats, his best season is 72 points with the Canadiens, and he played a full season. Other than that, he's only gotten 50 points more than once. So it's like, I don't know. Like, put him with some good players. Like, in fairness, with those teams he's played with, he didn't exactly play with absolute studs.
Well, the Dallas Stars were a good hockey team last year.
Well, he had a cup of coffee with them, so it's like whatever. But it's just he's not going to be on the Matthews line. Well, I don't know. We've seen some weird people on that line. We saw Matthews with Calle Yarncroke for a hot minute last year, but.
Remember when we were all like, we found him.
Yeah.
We found him.
I think you nailed it on the head with Domi. It's like, as much as you want to overrate his skill or underrate his skill, it's just when someone gets knocked on their ass in front of their net after the whistle, this guy isn't going to stand there like a wuss. You
saw him like in front of the net with the cross checks. And it's just, the other guys get off the ice and they're sore. It's like he takes a toll, and like that is just something this Leaf team has just not had.
I know, we're sick. We're sick.
Oh
of just,
my God! And there's
it's embarrassing to watch. I'm embarrassed for them.
And there's
to watch.
a segment of this fan base that just doesn't think that matters, and it does. Like, listen, if you wanna argue with me about like goons and how important goons are and how important fighting is in the modern game, okay, I'll have that conversation with you. I think it's important. I think Ryan Reeves is going to play an important role, but I'll sit and have that conversation with you, sure. But like guys who are irritating and pesky and tough to play against, that was one of the best things about Mike Bunning's game. Like you need those guys in your lineup. You have to have them. Like, it's just, I don't know how you can debate that. It's hard to debate that because you can't, the segment of fans that argue against it, there isn't a skill or a statistic, rather, that quantifies it. So they are like, it doesn't matter. You can't measure it through a metric, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I just see it as like, just imagine a scenario in front of their net where they're in Samsonov's face, and it's not Lucic on the ice. It's not a tough guy on the ice. It's just like Stamkos, Kucherov. Like Stamkos and Kucherov could like push around Matthews and Marner, and they're not going to do shit. Like, you know, like this guy will just like, no matter who it is, will
and even if
give
he
a
takes,
cross check or like give him a shot back.
You know what it is? It's not like sorry to go here, but like the guy's not afraid to take a punch in the head. Yeah. Like that's the like he's not afraid, right?
It's embarrassing watching what happens after the whistle sometimes, especially in front of their own net.
Oh, the game the other night, Tarasenko just drops Matthews, and then he turns around. No one's there. He literally like if you zoomed in on the play, he like you can see in his head he drops Matthews and he goes, "Oh, someone's coming for me. I better turn around." And then he just turns around. Nope, they're all gone the other way. Like it's like that's your best. That's your franchise player.
And we're talking about Vlad Tarasenko.
Yeah, like what is happening?
Like, we're not talking about a bad. We're not talking about like Brady Tkachuk or like someone who's a little more badass. We're talking about Vlad Tarasenko.
Yeah, what is happening?
Yeah,
last thing I want to hit on. Like I said, there's only been a few preseason games, but Tyler Bertuzzi's a damn good hockey player. This is a guy I'm really excited about them having. His thing is he does have to stay healthy. He does have a pretty big injury history. You talked about guys getting hurt. Like he's got to stay healthy, but
stay on the ice.
But that's the guy for if you're going to have Matthews and Marner together, that's the guy you put on the other side.
Yeah, good top six mix guy. I think that's what I took out of tonight when we talked watching the game. It's just having that different, which like Mike Bunning did play that role, but it's like, you just need.
Bertuzzi is a more skilled player.
Yeah, you just need more. I'm sure there's some guy who's going to comment calling you an idiot for saying.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but,
yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
We had a guy leave a comment on our TikTok that and all it said was, "You two need to shut the fuck up." And I was like, he's probably right.
TikTok is something.
Oh yeah,
he's something.
You know, he's not wrong.
No.
No.
But it's like, you know what, buddy, you shut up.
You two need to shut the fuck up.
Why? I want to have that guy on the podcast. I want him to call in.
I think being a Leaf fan is a bit like being a Dallas Cowboy fan is there's so many people out there that like when they see you're a Leaf fan, they're like, "Oh my God." Like the teams in sports that get that treatment, like the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL.
Yeah. But I mean, like this is, in the grand scheme of things, the Leafs are peanuts compared to the Dallas Cowboys, but
it's true. It's really true.
You shut up. You shut up, you idiot. Tell me to shut up. You shut up.
No, it's just the way he worded it. You guys
Dummy.
need to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I presented this and you said there's no way it's going to happen, but I'm going to present it on the podcast anyway. I think we need to do away with the, he's a warrior, he's a battler, he wants to be out there, hockey culture nonsense with John Tavares. And I think that they should really look at putting together some sort of load management plan for him this year. I'm not saying he needs to go NBA and take days on, days off, but like give the guy a night off on the second night of a back-to-back. Like it's just, can we just stop with this silly, like, well, he's a Warrior and he wants to be out there. It's like, you know what, John, we need you. Like, when you're John Tavares' age in the National Hockey League, you're on the other side of it. You're not young anymore in terms of being a pro hockey player. So, like, can we just do away with this silly hockey hero culture? And, like, all we hear is how much money the Maple Leafs and Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment spends on their sports science department. So can we have someone come up with a regimen or a schedule for John Tavares and be like, these are the nights you're going to take off. So when we get to April, your body is not feeling the amount of wear and tear it normally would if you played 82.
That is never going to happen.
Well,
I'll tell you why. John Tavares' hockey career all depends on him getting 80 points a season. No matter what criticism you have of him, like his ultimate defense of his play for his contract that he's going to be playing for in a couple seasons is he gets 80 points a year. So if you diminish games off his season, that 80 turns into 60 or 70, and that's not good for his next deal. So I just think him as a player, as a guy, as an athlete, as a businessman, it's not going to fly. He needs his 80, man. Well, if he doesn't get his 80, he has no identity. He's
well, guess what, John? Like,
this isn't like, it's not like the NBA where it's like a superstar is a superstar. It doesn't matter if they suck or not. If they're a superstar, they get treated like a superstar. John's kind of like on the fringe. Like,
well, he is.
And I know a lot of people are going to be like, he gets 80 points a year like that. But like, that's exactly why he wants to play that 82. So he can continue getting those 80 points a year, because other than that, like, he's not.
We need you when it, and yes, he got the OT goal against Tampa, but
anyone could have got that goal.
There's no way at his, like,
I get what you're saying.
I think slowing down. Like,
I don't think you're wrong.
No,
like,
we need to preserve him.
That's a good point.
And I'll tell you what, we're saying this about John Tavares. If I see Mark Giordano playing the second night of a back-to-back,
that's more realistic
this year. Oh my God,
no, it's a lot more realistic.
Like, enough.
It's like it's curtains for him. Like, it's like any day he's done. Like, but John's like 32 years old. Like, he's not 36. He's not 37. Like, John's got to get his 80, man, because that's what he's living on.
John.
Not saying that 80's like, I'm talking about 80 points like it's not impressive. Like, at the end of the day, we can say whatever we want about him. Getting 80 points in the NHL is extremely productive, and he does it every year. So it's like, he's just got to be in every single game he can be to get that 80.
Yeah.
That's his identity.
Well, just under 2 weeks until the games are real and they count.
I do what? So we do next week, and then the next week after that,
we'll be probably doing a post game of the Leafs.
Sure, when they lose an OT.
Yeah, post game kicking off the season.
Where are they, at the Bell Center? Or
yeah, I think they are at the Bell Center. I just had it open.
I wish I knew this stuff, but I don't.
I literally just had it open.
I wish I was one of those dorks who just knew everything.
So they've got 3 straight preseason games against the Habs.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, Monday.
No, it looks like they're at home.
2 back-to-back. No, these are preseason games.
Yeah, I know, but it looks like they're at home for game 1.
Yeah, they are at home for game 1.
Yeah.
Home opener. And then back-to-back against the Red Wings. So they've got a total of 5 more preseason games. That's not bad. I thought it was more than that. That's not bad.
I get to see Bedard early.
Yes.
Game 3.
Yes.
Yeah. They get a little Panthers rematch. Game 4.
I know. That's pretty, like, it's. And
then there's the Wild.
The last 2 years out of the gate, they've been pretty brutal. 2 straight years, they've been pretty brutal out of the gate, and we've all been calling for Sheldon Keefe's head. So let's see if that happens this year. Although they've been talking about this a lot on sports radio lately, like the guys who have been the beat guys. And I actually agree. The vibe around the team and camp is a lot more chill, and I want to give Brad Treliving credit for that. I think him coming in and sort of calming the waters, whereas like last year they started camp and it was Kyle Dubas is a lame duck general manager and everything needs to happen this year, and if Kyle Dubas gets fired, Sheldon Keefe's going to get fired, and the pressure. Whereas like I think my man Tree has come in here and just sort of Tree is an adult in the room.
I'm getting a tat, man. I'm getting a tat that says Brad Tree Living's #1 fan. And I think that's only because I hate Kyle Dubas so much.
Yeah, the bloom has come off the rose for Kyle Dubas.
Yeah,
with a lot
that
of
is
people.
just like anyone who's been listening to this pod knew last year I wanted that guy gone all year.
I was not in that camp. I was against you. I was pro Kyle Dubas. I was pro Kyle Dubas, but I think now after you know what? I'm not going to sit here and dog the guy. I think it just got to a point with him.
It was done.
Yeah,
it went on too long.
Yes.
It should have ended earlier.
Yes.
It's not that I hated the guy. I've always thought he was a good dude, but it was just it went on too long. He shouldn't have been around last year. And I think the reason why I love Brad so much is because I just was so done with Kyle.
I'm also enjoying that when you watch these preseason games and this footage from training camp, there's no Dennis Malgin skating around out there. Like we're sitting here having a conversation about a Max Domi and how he brings an edge and snot, as Tree Living says, to your team, and whereas last year we were like we weren't, but there were people last year who were like, is Dennis Malgin going to crack the top 6?
I think it's time to leave Snot alone too.
Yeah, you're done with Snot.
I think let's cut the guy. He said Snot once. Let's not hang it on him forever.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You think that because if you listen to sports radio, snot all day.
We get it. He said it once. Why do we got to just I feel like people just liked the word, so they just keep saying
well, he just has a way of
hanging
delivering
on this guy forever.
Yeah, he just has a way. Well, he said in his presser there for when they opened camp, he was like, I did not I said snot, and that just took off. Yeah,
I know. As soon as he said that, I was like, you know what, Brad, I'm gonna stop saying snot right now.
Yeah, because you're
I'm his biggest fan.
You're
guy puts together a very professional press conference.
Yeah, he is. He's very adult like that.
So business-like. Just a business savvy individual.
You're a fan.
Oh, love him.
All right, buddy. That guy. I think we're good. I think we're gonna get out of here. We'll be back.
I can't believe we just did 30 minutes on Leafs preseason.
Well, guess what? We'll be back next week to do 30 more minutes on Leaf preseason. I hope you're ready.
And hopefully this new pod setup will take less time.
Hopefully we won't be sitting here for an hour.
Yeah.
Untangling cables and moving around cameras and changing lights and
a couple idiots.
Yeah. A couple.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
all right. Bet.
Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm done.
All right, so I'm going to do my spiel. Thanks, everyone, for checking us out. If you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button below.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
We really appreciate it. We will see you guys next week for more preseason chat.